90 meters down, in the cold between Sweden and Finland, there is a shape on the seafloor. Round, 60 meters across, sitting at the end of a long scar dragged through the mud. For 15 years, men have tried to photograph it. And for 15 years, every camera lowered toward it has come back with nothing. As if the thing on the bottom of the sea simply declines to be seen. This is Polnoch FM, broadcasting after midnight from somewhere east of the last lit window. Good evening and welcome back to the dark. If this is your first night with us, don't worry, it won't be your last. Settle in, headphones on, lights low. The signal sits better that way. Tonight, while the rest of the coast sleeps with its back to the water, we are going down into the Baltic, to the one place the cameras refuse to come back from. Broadcast 9, we're calling it the impossible silence. It begins the way these things always do, with men who were not looking for it. June 2011. A small salvage crew, call them the Ocean X team, working the Gulf of Bothnia. They hunt shipwrecks, old cargo, bottles of champagne lost 100 years ago. That's the job. That's all it was supposed to be. 2 Swedish divers, a boat, a cheap sonar dragging the dark below them, coffee going cold, the instrument drawing its slow grey lines. And then the line stops being a line. On the screen, a circle, a clean round disc on the floor of the sea, 60 meters across, the width of a passenger jet laid flat in the mud, 90 meters down, where the light has been gone for a very long time. And it sits up, 4 meters proud of the seabed, not sunk, set down. They almost laughed it off. A glitch, a smudge, the machine having a bad night. Then they looked behind it. 300 meters of seabed, dragged, furrowed. A long, disturbed trail leading straight up to the disc. The men who saw it had one word for that trail. They called it a runway. As if the thing had come down out of the dark, skidded to a stop, and stayed. Now, careful here. That's what it looks like. Looking like a thing is not being a thing. Scientists said the sonar showed it, a glacial deposit. Rock dropped by a dying ice age, old, dead, ordinary. Maybe. The honest answer, after 15 years, is still nobody has proven what it is. And that gap, that little unproven gap, is exactly where tonight lives. Because when they brought the sonar in closer, the shape did not get simpler. It got worse. The captain described what he saw in plain words, and the plain words are the frightening part. Straight lines, right angles, corridors, and a formation he could only call stairs. Stairs, 90 meters under the Baltic, going down into a thing that has no reason to have an inside. Now, the careful voice again. Bad sonar lies. A miscalibrated machine paints corners on a boulder. That is real, and it is the likeliest answer. But here is what the careful voice never quite settles. If it's only a rock, why has no one in 15 years simply gone down and shown us the rock? They tried. God, they tried. 2012, they went back. Money, divers, a proper expedition. And this is where the story stops sounding like geology and starts sounding like a warning. The divers reported it the moment they were directly above the object. Not before, not to the side, directly above. Satellite phones, dead, the instant they were over it. Move the boat away, phones come back, drift back over, gone again. Cameras drain, batteries that were full an hour ago, emptied over the disk and nowhere else. Electronics on the deck behaving like the air itself had turned against the machines. Now I owe you the honest line, and I will always give it to you. No one logged those failures under controlled conditions. No clean record exists. Skeptics say cold water, cheap gear, frightened men, stories that grow on the ride home. That is fair. That is probably true. But notice what fair and probable have never once managed to produce. One clear photograph. Think about the year we live in. We have mapped the surface of Mars in color. We have filmed the inside of a volcano. We photograph single atoms. A 60-meter disk, 90 meters down, in quiet northern sea, between two peaceful countries, remains to this day a smudge, a rumor, a grey shape that will not hold still for a lens. Every expedition for the clear image failed. Equipment failed. Water clouded, funding dried. The footage never surfaced. And this is the thought I cannot put down at this hour. We keep saying it won't be photographed, as if the failure is ours, as if we keep dropping the camera. But run the tape the other way, just once. Just here, in the dark, where it's allowed. What if the silence isn't a gap in our data? What if the silence is the answer? What if the thing on the floor of the Baltic is not hiding from us? It is simply declining, politely, completely, to be seen. I'm not telling you that's true. I want to be very clear with you about that. I'm telling you that 15 years of failure feels, in the dark, a great deal like a refusal. And here is the part that keeps me at this desk, The sea is full of things we've named and lit and dragged into the daylight. We are very good at that. We are a species that insists on seeing. But every now and then, the world hands us one object that simply won't comply. Not loud, not violent. It doesn't reach up and pull the divers down. This isn't that kind of story. It just lies there, patient, round, silent, and it lets every clear picture quietly fail. And the silence travels. It gets into the men who go down to it. It gets into the funding meetings, the documentaries that never finish, the experts who change the subject. Correlation, not cause, I know. A dozen small ordinary failures can stack into something that looks like a will. But stack them high enough, for long enough, 90 meters down. And at midnight, from this chair, it starts to look a lot like the thing is the one keeping the secret, not us. It is still down there tonight, right now, while you're listening. 60 meters of something, 3 meters proud of the mud, at the end of its long, dragged trail. No clearer than it was in 2011, no closer to a name. And the camera, the funding, the brave little expeditions, they have mostly gone quiet too. So I'll leave the dial open, the way we always do, and I'll ask you the only question that matters down here. If something that large can stay that hidden for that long in water this calm, do you think we keep failing to see it? Or do you think it has already decided we won't? Tell me in the comments. I read them after the broadcast, when the building's empty and the clock is the loudest thing in the room. If you want to be here when the next signal comes through, subscribe and switch the bell on. We sign on after midnight, Tuesdays and Fridays. Miss the alert and you miss the broadcast. The static doesn't wait. And stay a moment. There's another transmission queued on the screen for you. Something else that came in from the dark. That's all the air we have tonight. From all of us at the station, 90 meters above whatever is listening from below. Sleep where it's loud. And mind the static.